Hello, welcome to Bobby Bearing on the Commodore 64. This is, well, this started life on the ZX Spectrum, and which probably explains the graphics. As you can see, it's a isometric perspective sort of maze game, also inspired by Spin Dizzy. You know, that sort of game. But I mean, it looks and plays sufficiently different to not be a blatant rip-off. You take control of this little Bobby Bearing, with a little ball with a rather silly smile on his face. Now, I think the idea is to rescue. You have to rescue some of your friends or relatives, I think. But I can't remember the details. But I do remember that this started life on the Spectrum, and the 64 version is actually not too bad, but it is a little bit slower. Not too bad, but it does play a little bit slow in the Spectrum version. And unfortunately, as you can see, the graphics are almost identical. Well, they are identical to the Spectrum version. It's a straight port. But they still have, I think all the sprites have little bags of character, to be honest. You can see the screens like this where, you know, as it gets a bit more complicated, the game does really slow down. Oh, we get squashed there. Now, when this came out originally in the 64, I believe the tape version didn't have any music, and the game was played in complete silence, which is a bit of a disappointment, obviously. Now, I think the disc version had the music, which we're listening to now, which is quite a cheery tune. But this is one of these games where you have to make a map to get anywhere, I think. So if you're a map freak, you know, map making freak, you'd probably get a lot out of this game. But if you didn't like making maps and things, then you know, I don't think you get very far. You just end up like me, just wandering around. It gets a bit repetitive after a while, but it's good fun just roaming around and see what the game's got to offer. Oh, that's, don't know, the question mark means there. It's a shame there could be more colour in the graphics, but I guess that's just a limitation of the way it was converted over. Well, this looks potentially hard. Right, so that's pretty much all the game's got to offer. It's just wandering around, really. I don't think there's much in the way of flicking switches that, you know, and solving vague puzzles like there was in Spin Dizzy. I think this is purely arcade orientated. Right, what am I going to give this? I think it's okay. I think it's not a great game. You know, I'm not sure it's an even good game. It's a fairly average game, so I'll give this 5 out of 10. I think, which I think's an okay score. I mean, it's not a great game. It's not a bad game. Just purely an average game. But I think what's here is done quite well. I mean, the graphics and the environment is, you know, it's done quite well. It's quick. You know, it's quite convincing. There's some neat touches, you know, like little character gets squashed and you know all the silly expressions that they've got on their face. So there's a bit of humour here. Yep, I think 5 out of 10 is a fair score. That's all for this video.